First, we will take roll with several people absent, but we will confirm a quorum. Chair Chris Butler is present. Todd Kennedy. Present. Barry Rasco. Here. Betsy Sharon.
Here.
Elizabeth Nash is absent. Kenneth Belton is absent. Darren Young is absent. And Jason Baumgartner is absent. Staff, we have Lindsey Young, we have Mitchell Smith, and Stephen Boyer in attendance. Nick, you gonna make a plan since you have some insight. Okay. We do have a quorum having 4 people. We move to approve the meeting minutes of June 18th, 2024. So, Gary has moved. Any second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? None. Next thing would be the financial report. We just had some questions last time on, you knew what we had.
You're talking about when she sent you an email. Yeah. Y'all see the email? Mm-hmm. Did that help explain the payoff? How we did that? On the couch bills. We paid, they paid us some extra back.
It was 2 payouts, I think is what she said.
That's good.
Wow, that was 2 entries.
So she said that's all I paid. The repayment agreement between the EDA and the couch bill signed on 6/13/22 and 35/8/93/36. McAllister paid the agreement off after they were found to be in arrears. Once McAllister paid off the amount due to 35 in total, the amount was sent to 2 different payments, 11/8/3/36 and 24,000 to the dock commission. Those are the 2 payments that we sent out to the dock commission. So if you look at the financial, sorry, that was that. Did that answer your question from that?
I think so.
I'll show you. You had the this sheet right here, Chris.
Yes. Okay. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so what she did, I think this is, she used to list everything, right? So everything. And what she said, go to the 3rd page.
Yep.
What she's going to do, start the page at number 100. These are things that have taken place since the last meeting. Okay, so they'll be in that.
So those journal entries since the prior meeting.
That's correct. So you can see where you gave money for to the high school, 59, 55, and then you can see your rent, your LGIP interest payments, and your Grayson loan payments. If you go to the front page, she highlighted, she said she thinks it caused a little bit of confusion. So she highlighted that 16,816. So the amount covered was 25, amount spent 16,816, and we saved 8,000. If you look at the next 3, then go to the next page, that's 6, 6, and 4. Those are just the things that came in. The total is 16,816.
Okay.
Right? And then if you see the 3,493, that's highlighted in green. That was the she highlighted that as so it's a back pay that happened after the meeting, prior to the meeting. So that's just what that was.
I appreciate you getting the answer here.
The only other thing, sir, is that I want to point out when we use debt jobs, we've been breaking those out to list components when we do that.
Right.
That's a total of $6,580. We've been charging each tourism $2,800. They wouldn't pay. PSA has to pay. The thought would be that moving forward on retrospective, we would pay for no use debt. Are you concerned with that?
I do not. If anybody has any, by all means speak up. But I think that if we're using the code we should be the ones to pay.
And that's all I have from a financial piece. Unless you have questions from me or clarification.
Any questions on the financials? Bottom line right now, after $59,385,000 payment to the school, we've got $752,304.69. We, when I said if there's no questions, look for approval of the minutes or a motion to approve. I'm sorry, to to approve the financials?
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as written.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? None. Financials are approved. Again, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Lindsay, do you want to kick off Mr. Britt's thing, or do you just want to let it go right into him? However you want to do it?
He's on, I guess he's on and can hear us. Mitchell and I we've met a couple times and he's been giving me an update. Most of you will recall, we were kind of waiting to the APHID grant process got canceled for last fall. So we were waiting to apply for the spring, so we applied and then we were waiting to hear back because we needed match funding before he could spend this funding. And we didn't get the APHID funds. So that is why I think everybody saw the letter to request for an extension. So that is kind of why he sent the letter to request an extension for his project, which he's actually moving forward quite quickly. So I'll let him give you guys update.
Mr. Britt, thank you for coming back. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon. Sorry I can't be person. But yeah, I think if you guys all read the email I sent out a couple weeks ago, I think according to our original agreement for the $50,000 grant, we were supposed to have construction and our side of the deal done by July 15th. But several months before July 15th, we had kind of went hand in hand with Lindsay and the county to reserve some of that 50,000. We had to hold back 12,500. We needed county grant match dollars for the APHID grant, and even the Tobacco Resource Commission grant. And I also remember last year or earlier in the year when we all met previously, the APHID grant and whether we had applied or not had come up. And similarly with the Tobacco Resource Commission, they definitely wanted us to go for the APHID grant as part of our process of applying with them. So like Lindsay just mentioned, we did that. We applied for the APHID grant through county support, and right now the APHID team is not supporting any more beverage projects in Virginia, craft beverage projects, which is unfortunate for Grayson County. But that being said, we met with our contractor last week, and they're planning on starting the second week of August with, just building out. They're estimating like a month and a half, 2 months till we have like a CO. But we have a really solid plan. We've gone and toured quite a few of their projects. They're based out of Cana, and we've seen quite a few of their projects, and they do really awesome, high quality work. And the budget came in where we needed it. And so yeah, as far as like, I think why we're here today, like the main reason for this meeting is, I guess, to formally have the extension. We've been kind of just been operating under the assumption that we were waiting on the APHID, and once we found that out, we could close the gap in our financing. The APHID was another additional $50,000 that could have been used for construction. So it was important to see kind of where that landed, because we were wanting to pull the trigger on construction. The Tobacco Resource Commission grant, if you guys are familiar with that, it only goes for equipment, and it pays for 25% of equipment. Elizabeth Ash, she's not there today. She's our, we've had our farm loan with Scotland for quite some time. So we've been talking to her about, closing the gap that we need with some financing there. Lindsay also got us in touch with CERCAP and another kind of farm-centric lending platform that we've been talking to as well to close the gap. Everything we've gotten back as far as like closing the gap that we have on construction is in like that range. So just kind of to go back to that email I sent with updates, I did kind of mention possibility of coming back to the EDA with like a request for lower interest interest loan than what we're kind of getting out on the marketplace. But that being said, again, I think the big reason we're here today is just for an update and kind of extension formality, and then also to come in and kind of talk about those things. I talked to Elizabeth today quite a bit, Elizabeth Ash, and we're definitely moving forward with the project, and I feel really confident with her that between the $50,000 you guys gave us in personal cash and what we can finance to close the gap, like, you know, we're gonna have the project complete here in the next couple months. But, you know, we are a small business in a rural county, and with the high interest rates, you know, the thing about cash flow and whatnot, there was the request for a loan was just kind of looking at all options before we pull the trigger on that part. So kind of that's where I'm at. You guys have the email. You guys can reference. Ask questions.
We were requiring them to completely done. I'm trying to look back.
I think that's what it said. Yeah. Was to have, or to have the things done that we allow the money for by that day. Do you feel like you said 1 or 2 months, do you feel like 3 months is a safe bet for an extension?
From today. I mean, I guess like we've told hey, they have, you know, the go ahead to start. I emailed them on Monday of this week, and just to confirm like start date. I have not heard back. I mean, I know that, you know, contractors are busy, and emails not like their strong suit. Probably filled, but they did say they were available. They could start the second week of August. So based on what they told us, like, yeah, I mean, they should be able to do it relatively quickly. We have our septic permit. One additional that we are going to have to put in a well, which we got that figured out, and that's like engineered and planned and ready to go.
It's been my experience with construction here lately, twice as long as.
That's what I was afraid of. Yeah. And then keep them from coming back to it
Yeah.
end of the year and give them a little bit of runway.
Can you hear us all right? I see you kind of putting your ear to the computer.
Which one of these things works?
Can you hear us?
Oh, I can kind of hear. I can't tell if you guys are talking amongst yourself or talking to me.
What, we were just talking, maybe just looking at maybe extending it to the end of the year, so that would be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as the extensions go, is, you know, any delay is not going to be for us because of us, like, you know, like we're ready to go. So if it's just a formality, like if for some reason something comes up and by the end of the year it's not done, you know, maybe a vendor or something, I mean, I guess we can just, you know, approach that when that time comes, but
Some of the things are out of control.
yeah, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna be swift. I mean, I can't remember if one of you guys recommended Payne or it was from the Facebook page for Independence, but man, like they do awesome work and seem to really have their stuff together. I know we're out there and it's a little ways away, but you know, so travel time for these guys is a lot longer. But once the slab's poured, I mean, the framing, interior and exterior sheathing, all that, I think it's gonna go pretty quickly. But yeah, like I grew up in construction. Yeah, done it my whole life myself. Definitely understand the intricacies of it.
I guess my only other question I had, and it's not related to that extension, it's, and we're not really maybe even going completely in that today, but you keep talking about closing the gap and new funding. What's that amount? It may be in here somewhere. How much are you trying to close the gap?
So we were kind of waiting on the AFID funding to find, you know, that additional $50,000, whether we got that or not affected our gap. We're already, I think I explained this in the email update, that we're at the operation. So from the time I originally presented to you guys and projecting year 1 to where I am now, like I'm already currently entering year 2 at my rental location in Mount Airy. So like So we've been bottling and stuff like that. We haven't touched the EDA money. But we're gonna start pressing apples like here in a couple weeks. So we're already like starting to spend again for year 2. We just got the AFIT response. Elizabeth literally got back to me last night on financing options. She's had a lot of stuff going on in personal life, and then she's also out of town for some bank work. So I still have like I would say 120,000 between the 50,000 EDA money and to get us to like CO is, you know, what we need. And Elizabeth can do that for us. She can take care of that for us. And then that allows us to keep our cash that we put into the bank account as a match, and then also other cash we have access to pay for cost of goods and some of the equipment pieces from the Tobacco Resource Commission we're going to pay for in cash. So yeah, but it's been kind of a little bit of a moving target as we've been finding out about the AFID, some other grants we've been looking at, and just like Lindsay had gotten us in touch with CERCAP, and they're like a small business loan program with a little bit lower interest. So we were kind of looking to see what we could get from them, maybe. Because it's definitely going to be a cash flow business for the first few years.
Mitchell, when excuse me, when the time comes that people come before us, what you've presented and what you've gone through, to me, should be an example of every person that comes before us, because you've put your own money in, you've come to us and asked for money, and we've been able to do that. You're going to a bank, which we would prefer over coming to us and keep the local economy going. Every portion of this, you've gone through all of the grant applications and tried to get them to the best of your ability with Lindsay and others. I commend you, I commend Lindsay, the banks, everybody for putting this all together and doing this exactly the way, at least I did, hopefully everybody envisioned this to go when we started. How do we want to get money out to companies? So I commend what you've done, and Lindsay, your efforts in getting them to this point, helping them to this point through here. Grants are never guaranteed, but obviously if you're going for them, that's the biggest thing that we ask people of. And to your point earlier, I would be very hesitant to give a loan out when we know that there are banks in the area that could do that. That's just not something that we want to do. But again, I commend you, and it goes back to what makes each case individual and why we were so sure that this was a good investment for us to make. Also why, and I will wait and see what the resolution is, that I think that we should extend this to the end of the year and give him a little bit of runway so he's not coming back in front of us in a few months if there's some issue with construction, which all of us at the table faced at some time.
Thank you for the kind words, and we definitely appreciate Lindsay's hard work and efforts and just care for the community. And it's such an awesome and important position we have there in our community to have someone like her out helping farmers when most of the county is agriculture, and agriculture dollars are really what's keeping the county alive. Like, it's just her position is so important to keep agriculture alive in the community. We're still partnering with other community leaders and members. Casey Johnson, that runs the Orchard Prison. My wife and I had supper with him and his wife on Tuesday night, and he just planted 1,000 trees for John Vance's sister up in Elk Creek, and he's planting another 1,000 trees for them next year. He's planted a couple other 1,000 trees this year for other residents of the county too, and they all are planning to sell us apples. So it's real deal. It's really happening. I think I also said this in our email as well to you guys that we really want to build a generational family business, and I want to be open as soon as possible, but we also want to do it right. And so I appreciate the extra time, and hopefully Payne can make us all proud of something that the county can be excited about and promote.
Well, we haven't given it to you yet, but I think we'll make a motion here. Let's not give Lindsay too much credit around here. It makes the recordings bad. I'm on the same page. You're preaching to the choir. I think that her position is something that is a value to the county, and I will put that on any record that is asked. Do we have a motion in any way or any other questions? Go ahead. Oh, no questions. I think it's-
If he wanted because when I read this, if he wanted another $50,000.
Just an extension to this, just an extension.
We gave you 50,000.
Right, but he says in here, it makes sense to go for the additional.
For me, but that fell through.
Okay.
That's what pushed him behind
Okay, gotcha.
getting.
Yeah, I did mention in that email to you guys, the possibility of a low interest loan, just.
Yeah.
But I know the point of the EDA and is not to compete with banks. And the bankers we worked with have told us why wouldn't we go back and ask, just interest rates are at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And, I think it could work though with what Liz was presented to us in the cash flow, like the monthly payments. I mean, it's based on our sales projections, not on our equity in our house or on our personal income or assets. Is strictly what she's financing to us will be based on our projections. And the numbers work, so it shows we, I think, have a viable plan.
At the end
So,
of last year. End of 2020, yeah, end of last year, is where we had 50,000 already come out for us. But we had asked that to get construction done by July for that. So all we're looking now is with the understanding that AFID fell through, and he wasn't doing it until he got the recommendation or and then decision from AFID that we push it off and let him have a little more time.
I'll make the motion. Unless you're right now, this board is
100% correct, but make the motion that we extend that performance period, thank you, from July 15th.
Whatever the department was, to the end of the
To the
fiscal
end of
year,
this
calendar year.
calendar year this year. Is that good enough?
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Mitchell, thank you. Good luck. We look forward to an
all right,
update.
now, you guys, thank you.
I look forward to buying that box.
Just one.
Well, maybe more than one.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
You'll be seeing some progress soon. Look forward to it.
With that, we have checked through the majority of what we want to do. I would like to note that we'll put next time on the agenda, I'd like to discuss the money that, or have a discussion on the agenda on the money that Jim Worth came to us about. I was out of town when Linda asked for information to go on the agenda, and so I didn't get her text until I got back Wednesday morning. So we'll put that on there. Discuss.
Money.
What's that?
Is that freeze?
No, the one that Jim came and asked about, the building here, well, yeah, right now. So I'd like to discuss that next time. With that, I think we have something that we want to go into executive session for.
Just so you know, we got all the money for.
We did.
He's trying to, I think if I remember this correctly, he's trying to fit this puzzle together with his different funding sources. This board was one of those funding sources, but it's other ones have come together.
Oh, good, okay.
I think there's also here an update on Angie's restaurant.
I was in there the other day. She has made that look beautiful, and now they did that. The menu looks great. It's just a matter of getting people in there. Is the thing.
Did she get ready? Did you like them?
She did. When I was in there, she did. They had taps. Not there. They weren't open yet, but they had taps open. They were trying to get some agreements worked out on wine, but they had beer already worked out. We're going into. We need a motion to go into executive session for discussion relating to the acquisition or disposition of real property pursuant to 2.2 3711A3 of the Code of Virginia involving communication infrastructure project.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll go into executive session. As we come out of executive session, then